Welcome to The Explainer. Today we're talking about an astronomer, a thermometer, and a completely accidental discovery that revealed an invisible fire all around us. It was a discovery that, believe it or not, would totally change how we see the entire universe.
So let's start with a really simple question. One you might have wondered about as a kid. When you see a rainbow, does it actually have an end? I mean, it looks like it does, right? It goes from that deep violet to a bright red and then, well, it just stops. But is that really the whole story?
Well, the answer turns out to be a huge no. What our eyes see as the full rainbow is actually just a tiny, tiny sliver of what's really there. The real rainbow keeps on going, stretching out into a world that our eyes can't see, but our bodies can definitely feel.
So this is a story about that hidden world, the one that exists just past the edge of our vision. It's a world filled with invisible rays and hidden heat that was just waiting for one curious person to finally find it.
Okay, let's set the scene. The year is 1800, and our main character is a man named William Herschel, who was already like a total rock star in the world of astronomy. And he had a very practical, kind of burning problem he needed to solve.
So this is the guy who discovered the planet Uranus. A huge deal, right? But now he was trying to observe sunspots. And the big problem is you can't just stare at the sun. So he was using these different colored glass filters. But he noticed something really weird. Some filters got incredibly hot while others stayed cool. And it had nothing to do with how bright they seemed. This got him thinking, wait a second, are color and heat somehow connected? Could different colors of light actually have different temperatures?
To figure this out, he didn't build some giant, complicated machine. Nope. He designed an experiment that was so elegant and so simple. But the results? They were going to be absolutely revolutionary. Here's what he did. He went into a dark room and used a glass prism to split a beam of sunlight, making a little rainbow on a table. Then he took a few thermometers, which he'd blackened with soot so they'd absorb heat better, and he started placing one right in the middle of each color. He even set up a couple of control thermometers off in the shade, just to make sure the room itself wasn't heating up. Simple, but so clever. And he saw results almost immediately. As he moved the thermometer along the spectrum from the violet end over to the red, he saw a clear, undeniable pattern. The temperature just kept climbing. Violet was the coolest, green was warmer, and red was the hottest of all the colors he could see.
So, there you have it. His question was answered. Different colors do carry different amounts of heat. Case closed, right? Well, not quite. Being a good scientist, Herschel decided to do one last final check, something he probably thought was just routine.
He took his thermometer and he moved it one more time. But not into a color, he moved it into the dark space on the table, just past the edge of the red light where the rainbow seemed to end. To his eyes, there was nothing there at all.
This was supposed to be his control measurement, his baseline. The temperature in this dark spot should have just dropped right back down to the normal room temperature just like his other thermometers in the shade. Logically, nothing interesting was supposed to happen here.
But something did happen. The mercury in the thermometer didn't drop. It shot up. In fact, it soared even higher than it had in the red light. It was the highest temperature he had measured all day. In a spot where there was no visible light, he had found an intense, powerful, and completely invisible source of heat.
He realized he'd stumbled upon a new kind of light, invisible rays coming from the sun that carried a ton of heat. He gave them a name, calorific rays, which basically just comes from the Latin word for heat. Today, we know them by a different name, infrared. Infra means below, so it literally means below red.
And this is the crucial part. Herschel's experiment proved that our eyesight is incredibly limited. The light we see is just a tiny fraction of this huge energy spectrum. We've got visible light, which our eyes see as color. But right next door, with slightly longer wavelengths, is all this infrared light that our eyes can't see but our skin can feel as heat. He hadn't just discovered a weird new kind of heat, he discovered a whole new kind of light. Okay, so this is a really fascinating story from over 200 years ago. But why does it matter so much to us today? Well, because that accidental discovery didn't just stay in a lab. It fundamentally reshaped our entire modern world.
I mean it. Those invisible calorific rays are absolutely everywhere now. The beam from your TV remote, that's infrared. The tech that lets soldiers see in the dark, infrared. How weather satellites track storms or how thermal cameras work. It's all based on the hidden light Herschel found completely by accident.
And here is where you can really see the power of this. Infrared gives us a kind of superpower. For our eyes, thick smoke is a solid wall. You can't see anything. But to an infrared camera, that smoke is almost transparent. Firefighters can use these cameras to look right through a smoke-filled room and see the heat signature of a person trapped inside. It literally lets them see through smoke to save lives.
And what's really fitting is that infrared has come full circle and totally revolutionized Herschel's own field, astronomy. The James Webb Space Telescope is basically the ultimate evolution of his original experiment. By looking at the universe in infrared, it can peer right through these massive clouds of cosmic dust that block visible light, and it can see the heat from stars being born and the faint glow of the oldest galaxies in the universe.
And all of this started with a simple question about colored glass and the simple curiosity to place a thermometer in a patch of what looked like empty darkness. It's such a powerful reminder that the greatest discoveries are often hiding just beyond the limits of our own senses, just waiting for someone to look for what can't be seen. It really makes you wonder what other invisible fires are hiding in plain sight, just waiting for us to find them next.